This is Fairer. Covering 126,000 square kilometers, it is one of the nation's primary agricultural engines. The crops and livestock produced here provide our foundational food supply. But this masks a growing instability. Farming families navigate volatile markets and rising input costs, while the cost of living creates daily financial pressure. These pressures are focused on the Murray-Darling Basin. Federal water buybacks remove resources from local irrigation districts, reducing the economic resilience of the communities that depend on that water to survive. For residents, it is a cycle of town hall arguments and public consultations that often leave rural voices feeling ignored by distant authorities. This friction is now compounded by the sudden political vacuum left by Susan Lay's resignation. We can view this by-election as a crisis or as an invitation to move past grievance. Instead, it is a moment to build a system of stewardship and shared wealth from the ground up. We call this the Purple Synthesis. It begins by valuing the work that currently holds Fairer together, but which the traditional economy ignores, the volunteerism and the unpaid care that sustains our regional towns. This foundational labor is visible in the maintenance of river ecology, the care of our elders, and the massive commitment of our rural fire service. It is essential work, performed without compensation. We transition to a braided economy using community hours, or C hours. The time you contribute is converted into a verified token redeemable locally for groceries, transport, or wellness services. This earn-to-heal loop ensures community care directly offsets household expenses. The braided economy returns value to the act of caregiving, providing a practical mechanism to support local families while rewarding the work that keeps our neighborhoods resilient. This same logic of local resilience applies to the management of Fairer's most vital resource, water. This contrasts static reports with a digital twin of the river system. A shared space shows how water behaves. Farmers can safely simulate buyback alternatives, modeling impacts on crop yields to build consensus based on verifiable data. We can also transition public infrastructure into community sovereign wealth funds. By designing water management facilities to also host clean energy or aquaculture, we generate revenue that stays within Fairer rather than being extracted by outside interests. These technological tools replace top-down bureaucracy with a roadmap for regional self-reliance, powered by our own data and our own resources. When we prove that a rural community can simulate its future and reward the people, we create a blueprint for the rest of Australia. In 2032, Brisbane will host the Olympic Games, mobilizing a workforce of 50,000 volunteers. This is a massive concentration of civic energy. We can use that deadline to establish a permanent national civic reserve. By scaling the Fairer Sea Hour model across the country, we can ensure this volunteer energy continues to benefit communities long after the games end. Whether you are planting drought-resistant trees along the Murrumbidgee or checking in on a neighbor in Albury, your contribution earns you a place in a nationwide system of care and coordination. This is a joyful way to upgrade our national health. It clears the daily grind and builds deep trust across our communities by finally acknowledging the wealth we create together. The simulation tools used to model our rivers allow us to see the great filters ahead, the shifting climates and solar particle events that will challenge our civilization. Every great filter is a systems problem that requires a cooperative human solution. Consider the AUKUS submarine agreement. It is a multi-hundred-billion-dollar investment that represents a massive concentration of Australia's engineering and industrial capability. What if we chose to transition that exact industrial base and skilled workforce away from underwater competition and toward the stars? We could pivot to a cooperative space gambit, focusing on peaceful, regenerative space infrastructure. We can build the microreactors and lunar habitats to expand our reach into the final frontier. This sovereign infrastructure can expand the International Space Station into a permanent orbital commons. We can turn an investment born of historical anxieties into an engine for our shared destiny. This protopian vision connects local stewardship to global infrastructure. It begins with a single sea hour earned by helping a neighbor and scales into a resilient nation ready for the challenges of the 21st century. The table is set. I invite you to take a seat.